One major priority area in the Southeast, which I think will cool off a great deal of nerves, is for us to bring out Kanu, that gentleman. Pull him out. Stop this incarceration. I know some of his pronouncements or maybe lines of actions and so on were offensive to the Nigerian state, and there was a need maybe to take certain actions. But you see, Nigeria itself is a family. That's my picture of Nigeria. When parts of the family feel offended, as a father, as parents, you sit the gentleman down, you sit the child down, and try to find out what are the problems. How do I help you? You don't like the Christmas shoe we bought for you? Okay, we'll get you a new one. Would that solve the problem? You don't like this meal? Can we fix another meal for you? Can we start talking with Kanu? Can we start talking with IPOP? Can we start talking with other groups? I think a conversation with some of these teams would go a long way in addressing the problem. We mustn't at all times apply the stick. Bring in some carrot at times. And let's see a carrot and stick diplomacy at play. Okay? We can do that. And I think if we do that, the Southeast, the situation in the Southeast will be highly doused, frankly speaking. Okay. All right? Further incarceration only make him more and more relevant, only heightened the heroship over him. He is a hero now, whether we want to accept it or not. And we made him the hero. Right. We have made him a hero in the Southeast. If he comes out now, he's wise, he can contest for governorship in any of the states. Nobody will be asking whether he's from that state in the Southeast.
So please consider the insecurity in the entire Southeast. And see, as a result of the insecurities as a result of the prolonged detention of MaziNnamdiKanu, and see a way of releasing him so as to restore peace in the entire Southeast. That is the amendment I want to add. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, dear colleagues.
I think what the intention of Honorable Ginger was to find an amicable way of resolving the issue with regards to Nnamdi and maybe urge, I think it should be amended to read, urge Mr. President to use any other diplomatic or political approach, granted that this is before the court, to find a lasting solution on this issue, because some of us who are from Southeast, we know where the shoe is pinching us, and we know what you can take out of it, and there will be a healthy security situation in the Southeast. So I urge that the amendment will be to urge Mr. President to use political intervention, diplomatic intervention, asking for his mercy to release Nnamdi Kanu, to enable that zone to find a lasting peace. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Longer Nnamdi Kanu remain in prison, the more the cause he is fighting for is being flourished by his own detention. Tinubu is a president that came from the trenches. He is one of those who fought for democracy and freedom. And I believe, if not for the fact that he went to exile, he could have ended up in prison with us in the 90s. Then someone of his own stature cannot be lectured about democracy or human rights, because we are all in the trenches fighting. So my expectation is that the problem cannot be solved by keeping the leader of the struggle perpetually in prison. You don't solve the problem. You can only solve the problem if you discuss the problem.
I put the question to the governor during our media chat. I said, can you say with finality that the sit-at-home syndrome has been defeated? The governor initially didn't answer the question, and I put it back to him. I said, I asked you a definitive question, sir. Can you say with finality that the sit-at-home syndrome has been defeated, especially in the hinterland? Again, he tried to show me that, yes, progress has been made. Didn't you see people moving around? So I was worried because the Biafra Day celebration is a day like no other. But where a group that has been proscribed is telling people to go on holiday, the question you ask is, where did it derive that legitimacy from?
Yeah.
To tell people, no, today don't go out. We are celebrating, we are remembering our fallen heroes and all that. To make matters worse in this matter, Simon Ekpa, on his part, said the sit at home is not going to be for one day, that it will be from the 29th to the 31st of May. Now you can imagine keeping people in their homes, telling people not to go out for all those days. How would people feed? How would they survive? Staying indoors for a people who are very enterprising, who are no
security post in Aba killing 5 soldiers and 6 civilians during a shootout. Your thoughts?
I think it was one of the most cowardly acts that has been carried out recently. It's quite sad because it's like 1 year down the line, we still have the security challenges. But what bothers me here is that they came in 3 tinted SUVs, Prado. Everybody knows how much a Prado cost. That should tell you how much these people are, how they're being funded. While the 3 SUVs were approaching, they also had ground support. So there was failure of intelligence, because that would be Akaba's junction, Bingwa local government area where this attack took place. I heard the junction is a wide junction that they could have been able to tell. And when you see 3 SUVs coming at the time when you have talked about sit at home, I thought there should have been more of intelligence. As sad as it is, but it was a surprise attack. And at this point in time, the National Intelligence Agency have to sit up, because Simon Ekpa is becoming more of a clog in the wheel of progress for the 5 southeastern states. Some of us have said that holding down MaziNnamdiKanu has been negative, because it has given cause to raise a Simon Ekpa who is not preaching the same sermon as Nnamdi was preaching, who is preaching violence. He's in Finland. I wonder what the Nigerian embassy in Finland is doing, and the Nigerian foreign minister is doing at this material point in time. He goes on Twitter. He calls out those violent acts. He goes on propaganda. He says he's carrying out referendum and they have been 30 million votes. Apparently, this attack was not done by IPOB. This was done by Simon Ekpa's boys, and he probably posted it on Twitter. If you notice, he has been number 1 on the tweet on trends for some time now on Twitter, and he's enjoying all the media attention, and that gathers him more support, gathers him more finances, and these are the finances that he's using. He actually does empowerment programs. Simon Ekpa, he sends funds to these people who actually also see him in the quest of being a benefactor. So the government has to do something about it. Yes, if not, the Southeast is going to continue to be a war theater. And one thing I must also point out,
briefly,
the military says they're going to go after them, but this is a guerrilla warfare. It's quite difficult to get people in a guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, that's why we're warning that it has to be done within the ambit of the law. But I mean, you make some very good points there, and of course the Nigerian government can't go to Finland and sort of try and extract Simon Ekpa from there. But all they can do is try and get the cooperation of the Finnish government. And the Finns have said that they tried at one point to pick him up. They said that there just didn't seem to be any evidence directly linking him to what was going on here. But let me come to you, Abba Kaka, and I apologize, I was calling you Abba Kaba, but somebody had written your name that way and forwarded it to me, so I do apologize. But I mean, Kenny Okolobo was talking about this and the linkage to Nnamdi Kanu. Does all this make it less likely, because the name IPOB is associated with this, that Nnamdi Kanu will be released anytime soon? Or does it strengthen the argument which he himself makes that in his absence, the group is running amok, but if he was freed, the reason for their violent protest?
Because we need to look at the causes of the problem in the southeast. We need to look at what actually caused these very problems. And I could see that when the people of indigenous people of Biafra started, it was a very peaceful movement. In all Nnamdi Kanu has done in the process of sensitizing people for secession, he never used any gun. He never used any form of weapon. But unfortunately, this process has been hijacked. Because people have hijacked it, and especially miscreants, even when the young man had said openly, publicly, and even in writing, that look, I am not in support of anybody maiming and killing anybody in the southeast. But the likes of Simon Ekpa could not see any reason with that.
Okay. So now that you mentioned Simon Ekpa, he's somewhere in Europe living his life and dishing out orders from that part of the world to people that live in the southeast. And mostly he's being obeyed, or he has people that carry out his orders. Why do you think the southeast governors have not done something about Simon Ekpa specifically? Obviously, the man is powerful and people are listening to him on the ground.
Well, the Southeast governors could appeal to the Attorney General or the President, because the law is very clear. What the federal government ought to do is to seek a way to extract the Southeast.
All right, a political solution, you say, but it's not only Nnamdi Kanu that in time past has found the flames of IPOB, but you and I know that Simon Ekpa, all right, regardless of Nnamdi Kanu trying to bring a little bit of sense into all that has been happening, we've had Simon Ekpa actually fanning the embers and actually probably stoking people to go out there and continue what they've been doing.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think Samuel Ekpa is even working with the IPOB. If he's serious, he should come back to Nigeria and begin to ask his people to lead. You cannot, stay outside Nigeria and directing misguided people to be committing heinous crime. I also
Mr.
believe
Ejiofor,
that government should enter.
Permit me to come in here. Yes, a lot of people have said that.
Yes.
We know he's still in Finland, but it doesn't change the fact that he's a voice that several people, especially those in the southeast, listen to. So saying that he should come, he should come back.
Well,
that's probably not a very, very realistic move, but he's still a voice that people listen to, especially those in the southeast.
Yeah, it's a voice. It's a voice, if you remember what I said, it's a voice to misguided elements. It's not a voice to reasonable people. But I can be listening to him. Most people cannot be listening. But some of these people who have been brainwashed will be listening to him. But he's there, enjoying himself. But I also believe that this time, government should enter into negotiations with the country where he's operating from and see whether he can be repatriated and to enable him face trial. Because what he's doing is worse than what Nnamdi Kanu was doing. So he should be brought back for trial.
So what is the way forward? How do we prevent this from happening again, whereby we have non-state actors attacking our military personnel? How do we stop it, not just in the southeast, but in all parts of the country?
You see, in all parts of the country, for instance, if I talk of the southeast, that people should come out to volunteer information, the people are scared. They are afraid. They cannot give out information because these people are living within the same people. So our security agencies should intensify efforts to flush out these elements from their hideouts. And once that is done, because I was watching a video on Arise this morning, they were parading themselves.
In DSS, called a meeting of all the leaders of the Southeast and said, this is what MaziNnamdiKanu said, that he is not part of this. Yet, every Monday, what happens is this. A few miscreants, and I use the word advisedly, come out, shoot and kill one or two people, and run away, and video it and send across the whole of the Southeast, and everybody is now scared. The governors we met, all of us in the National Assembly we have met, everybody has condemned it. I need the Senate to know that there is no one in the Southeast except the criminals who support this sit-at-home. Their modus operandi is simple. It's just terror. I have called the market leaders in Abia, and I said, you can't continue to stay away. And they told me that the people have threatened to burn their markets at night if they don't stay away. So this is beyond the citizenry coming out to just say, we don't accept it. Because what they have done is to use terror tactics to intimidate a whole region. And we have had meetings with the DSS, and all that the DSS has told us is, listen, these are just a few people. They will come out in one road, they will find somebody just driving along on his way to doing anything, shoot him, and then they will say it is because of sit at home. Take his car away, go and keep it in their den, and later go and sell it. So these are nothing but criminals. So I support this motion, and especially the matter concerning someone who is a dual citizen of Nigeria and Finland, staying in Finland, giving orders, and in fact, giving, I will say, orders that you don't understand why people should accept it here. But then, criminals will always find a reason to do what they want to do. I have also had interactions with the Finnish embassy, and in fact, the United Nations head in Nigeria, who is from Finland. And what she told me was, it is a government-to-government interaction that will lead to a resolution of this, because as a citizen of Finland, that he has a right to express his opinion. But I can tell you, my dear colleagues, each and every one of us has suffered greatly from what is happening in the Southeast. They attacked Senator Carlo when he was doing campaigns. They attacked me. There's nobody they have not tried to intimidate. But we cannot be intimidated because we are in a country that has rule of law. And so I support this motion in its entirety. And when the time comes for the prayers, if there's anything I will add, we will. But we want to
urge our colleagues and the rest of Nigeria to see this matter not just as a Southeast matter, but as a matter for Nigeria. I so submit.
All right, let's take this further here on RT International. Now crossing live to former Nigerian presidential contender Adamu Garba joining us live here on RT International. Great to see you today. A very warm welcome to you. You've been listening to the story here on RT. I know you know the story. I mean, just briefly, this guy, Simon Ekpa, born in 1985. They say he's a Nigerian-Finnish lawyer and a political activist. He's accused of essentially running a separatist movement from his home in Finland. And Nigeria has demanded that Finland take measures against this activist. Why does the government see the activist as a threat, Adamu?
Because, you know, what the activist is building on is something that started since 1966 in Nigeria, when we had the first civilian war that is called Biafran War, when some generals in that area decided to want to secede. Then a civil war was ensured, and suddenly there was unity. But most recently, one man that was termed and adjudicated as a terrorist in Nigeria, who is currently serving in Nigerian jail, Mr. MaziNnamdiKanu, started the movement in the name of IPOB, that's Indigenous People of Biafra, to actualize the dream of that secession. He was termed, jailed currently in Nigeria. And suddenly you now have this man who is sitting in Finland, was able to leverage on social media platforms to continue to stir violence and encourage killings and destruction in that part of the country that have known no peace for so long time. Someone never leveraged on social media. He lived in Finland, he paid Finnish tax, and do everything well in Finland, happily with his family, while causing trouble and making people here to be killing each other. When that happens again, he will carry the footages of the killings and publish on his social media handles.
But Mr. Garba, sorry, I mean, can I just jump in quickly? I mean, do you think this guy, Simon Ekpa, is working alone? Because there are some reports saying that he may have a sponsor, but that claim has not been substantiated. What do you think? I mean, are we talking about a guy on his own, or is he getting support from somewhere?
There is no way you will disconnect the wide-ranging network of this Biafra movement across the world. It is there. But one thing that surprises us is the fact that he is living in a self-acclaimed democratic country, a democratic model. Finland, and the country that Nigeria have a very strong strategic relationship with them. And this man is threatening to disrupt a democratic process in the coming election that is happening in just 7 days from today. He insisted that he will ensure that his activists are armed and they will go to the street, fight, destroy, and stop every other person from going to exercise their freedom of expression and voting. And this is the most democratic practice we have in Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria is one of the model of Western-style democracy. And this man is living in a Western country, disrupting a Western-style democracy in Nigeria, and the Finnish authority did not do it.
Why do you think that is, Adamu? Why do you think Finnish authorities have done nothing about this guy, Simon Ekpa, who's essentially trying to run a separatist movement from his home in Finland to affect Nigeria just ahead of your presidential elections? Why is Finland doing nothing?
To be very frankly with you, personally, this is my personal view, and I think Western relationship with Nigeria has always been double standard. There has always been double standard. It appears that what Simon Ekpa is doing is either not threatening their interests or is serving their interests. So to that effect, they will fold their arms and let whatever it is that happen. But if they truly care about democracy, as they say, as they release in their press statement, as they want to support Nigeria to ensure that there is free and fair election where all Nigerians are going to vote peacefully, the best solution, the best thing they need to do is to make sure that that guy is apprehended and perhaps submitted down to Nigeria so that he can face the justice of Nigeria, since it is hurting Nigeria, not Finland.
All right, former Nigerian presidential contender Adamu Garba joining us live here on RT International. Great to see you. Thank you very much for your time.
Expose all those ones doing those things, especially people like Simon Ekpa. He's sitting down there in comfort. Some countries are encouraging him to do what he's doing to Nigeria, and we are here supporting him.
Focus, and I know they can defeat us if you are not careful. I am very sure. I don't have any doubt at all.
Everyone to understand that it is time we are now pushed to the wall and we are pushing back.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa wonders why Nigeria should continue to surrender its airwaves to Simon Ekpa.
I always want to bring up this issue of Simon Ekpa. I still don't know why we're not doing anything much about him. We can't allow him get the airspace against us. The country Finland is offering him, is giving him refuge. They shouldn't do that for whatever reason. And we have diplomatic means of going through those things. So I think Minister of Information can do so much. Simon Ekpa is sitting down there in comfort. Some countries are encouraging him to do what he's doing to Nigeria. And we are here supporting him. So people must desist. We must call what is wrong, wrong. Ekpa, him sitting in Finland and causing confusion in Nigeria should not, is unacceptable. The Finnish government must stop him from doing, if they say he's their citizen, he's affecting another sovereign nation.
And I just say, Muagabu their last bus stop na this struggle. Only obuna adoro genuine. Me go end you for this struggle. I told them, if you want to start, first of all, go to native doctor in your village. Ijoese. Go to Oracle in your village. Consult the Oracle. The Oracle gwagi Simon Ekpa na ajenade.
The chief of MaziNnamdiKanu, Paulo Simon Ekwentas. Nobody. We did not hate Simon. We did not hate him. Behind he hate the book, character ya na speed on our
Ika aguguno. You the pussycat of Simon Ekpa. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Or you not leave him alone. You are going to leave Biafra, genuine Biafra people alone in IPOB. You go. What are you contributing in IPOB? What are you doing in IPOB? Okay, what is your effect in IPOB? Nothing. So you are going to leave us.
Okay. We also have a report from the Chief of Defense Staff telling the House of Reps that Simon Ekpa is frustrating their efforts in the southeast. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, that is Christopher Musa, General Christopher Musa, has accused self-proclaimed Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa of undermining the efforts of security forces in the southeast. General Musa said this while heading a delegation of other service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police during their appearance before the House of Representatives on Tuesday, November 21. In the aftermath of MaziNnamdikanu's arrest, Ekpa had asserted his leadership in the agitation for the restoration of Biafra. I wouldn't want to call it the restoration of Biafra, but that's the word that's being used in the media, for Biafra. Agitation for Biafra, not restoration, but because it will seem as if it had been a country before. It is widely believed that Ekpa is allegedly providing financial support to armed groups operating in the southeast, who often enforce the sit-at-home order declared by Ekpa. Accusing Finland of safeguarding Ekpa, Musa urged the federal government to initiate diplomatic dialogue with the Finnish government and invite the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria to address the concerns surrounding the activities of the agitator. Musa acknowledged the efforts of the military and other security agencies in maintaining peace in the southeast, but he expressed concern that Ekpa's comments and actions were undermining these efforts. When I was reading this story, I was just remembering the Umaru Dikko incident. This is Nigeria, where we attempted to smuggle someone in a bag or a box back to Nigeria in those days. You don't mess with Nigeria. But how can someone stay in a foreign country and be instigating the people back home to be killing themselves? Because as far as I'm concerned, the Southeasterners are killing themselves because the bulk of the victims are Southeasterners as well. So how can someone be instigating people to fight a country and then to kill himself, and another country is shielding this person? Or is it that Nigeria is not doing enough to make sure that this person is brought to book or something? What other way do they define terrorism and terrorism financing and terrorism enabling? Is he not an enabler of terrorism in the southeast of Nigeria? So why is the Finnish government keeping him? There are a lot of questions that maybe we need to ask the diplomats. to give us answers to so that we get to know why it is so difficult to get this man out of the way, get him arrested, put him in jail, or prosecute him, or one thing or the other that can be done to the man. So maybe we'll be asking, like I said, a diplomat or people who are in the know to tell us why it's so difficult. Because, okay, for instance, Nigerians have just been told why the Super Eagles coach cannot be fired. So we have seen reasons for them. So let's also know why Ekpa cannot be arrested or cannot be taken to court or something. Let's get to know so that we put our minds at rest. He's in a faraway land, but financing possibly the terrorism that is going on in the southeast. Those are people who are some of the most industrious people in Nigeria, if not the most industrious people in Nigeria. And Monday market used to be like the in thing when you're talking business. People were coming from every part of the
AIG, there are not a few who believe that the pace at which the Interpol International and Interpol Nigeria are working is quite interesting. They point to the fact that MaziNnamdiKanu, the leader of the proscribed group, IPOB, it didn't take long for them to grab him from the same Kenya and get him down to Nigeria, and he's facing justice now. That's why it's like a case of we're following process, diplomatic channels, etc., etc.
Believe you me, I want to tell you I don't know what you are talking about. All I know...
You seem not to know exactly what we are talking about here.
No. You are bringing an issue that Interpol is not aware of. You know, let me define the role of Interpol so that you can understand. Interpol is an international police organization that assists law enforcement agencies within the 196 countries to look for a fugitive that runs or is hiding. And if you look at all the other fugitives that are brought to face justice in Nigeria, they have the link, those who are involved with Interpol. So I don't know I don't want to talk about issue of Kanu, who brought him back to Nigeria. I'm not aware how he was brought back to Nigeria or how he came into Nigeria. Interpol is not aware. We stated this long time ago, and we made it categorically clear. So it's not a question. There are what we call police-to-police relationship, international police cooperation. Another police, it does not necessarily bring Interpol. If one police and another exchange a suspect is running from them, they can have an international police cooperation that out of the scope of Interpol. But however, if a notice is given to an individual, like blue notices, when the inmates in Kuje prison escaped, we did a biometric capture of those suspects, and we shared it with international communities. We shared it with our law enforcement agencies. Many of them were re-apprehended because we have their biometrics. Now, in the issue of red notice, where a red notice is issued under the federal court that issued that notice of arrest, that is warrant of arrest for such international, it will go to the Interpol, we'll process it, we'll look at it, we'll look at the charges, and then we'll issue a red notice. On that red notice, we bring back the culprit to face justice because all the 196 countries will be looking for that individual.
We'd sincerely like to thank you, retired Assistant Inspector General of Police, Garba Umar, who is currently the Vice President of Interpol Africa Region. Thank you, sir, for coming on the News Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the Southeast. We have a peculiar threat in the Southeast. Some people insisting that no one should go to work on Mondays, and they've been killing soldiers, especially. How do you assess the security situation in the Southeast relative to the capacity of the armed forces?
Yeah, you know, the Southeast has its own challenges because of, again, the nature of the terrain. The terrain plays a vital role. You know, it's thickly forested, so it affords you, somebody can, and then you just be passing by, and then so it makes it a bit more difficult. Even with your air, in fact, it makes it difficult more with air. Even when you fly abroad ahead, you hardly can see anything. So that makes it extremely. So we have to fine-tune the training of the troops there to jungle warfare. And jungle warfare has its own different challenges because you cannot use a lot of equipment they're using. You have to go fully dismounted. And because, again, those are their own areas, a lot of advantages they have that they've built up within. But we are getting so much, successes are really very encouraging. What is going on in that area is purely criminality. And I can tell you, when we've entered the bushes, what you see, I want Nigerians to understand that it is, you see them killing, dismembering, removing parts of human beings. You see a lot of vehicles that they just see a vehicle, catch person and just kill him. There are a lot of graves all over, scattered all over the places. You will see corpses, skeletons. It is just simple madness. And they do, we see a lot of rituals. They do a lot of human rituals within those areas. So it is much, and that's why it's important for us to be able to follow up again the leadership, especially this Simon Ekpa that is in Finland. That is causing this a lot of problem by his comments. The federal government has taken that up with the Finnish government on the need to be able to curtail that, and then we're also following through the cyberspace to be able to address those issues. We are seeing people that are also sponsoring them. There are a lot of people that are sending funds to them. We are aware of that. We are profiling them at the right time. All of them will be picked. International organizations have, especially the US and the UN, are aware, and they are going after them. There are a lot of them in the US and Europe. They are contributing money to what is going on in that place. And so all of them will be both within the local area. So like I said, it's basically acts of criminality. The people are, and then the issue of drugs. This is why NDLA2 is doing a great job. We need to take drugs out of our youths because that is aggravating what is ongoing on those general areas. But we are working very hard. Troops have gone back in again. We're clearing the whole area to ensure that we get them. So we want to encourage people. And of late, we have had some of them too that are also willing. They are tired. They are also saying that, look, they want to, they want to come, but they have commanders that are making money. This issue of money, that is what is actually, if you watch the entire country, all these issues of criminality rolls around money. People feel once they make money, they can get away with anything. And that's what was encouraging them to do. And so that's why it's important for us to encourage good governance. Because if local governments are working, for example, it makes it a lot easier. We also want to encourage the federal government for us to have a comprehensive census. If you go abroad, you commit an offense, it's 50-50 chance you'll be arrested. They're not using witchcraft. It's because they have data. We need to build that database. If it is comprehensive, wherever you are, once you are cited or your signature is seen anywhere, it's easier to track who did this, where, and how. So that's why we want to encourage issues of things like having a comprehensive census for Nigeria, so that it will assist the security agencies in performing their work.
What is the extent of the Army's investigation of the killing of his officers and men in Okwama?
Okwama, yes. We have I think the report is just in. We're going through the report in Delhi. It's again acts of criminality. We have cultists, those guys are into sea piracy, into illegal oil bunkering. So they've been able to...
We can never allow them to breathe in Biafra land. I see them sharing my video. I see them sharing my videos. Oh, Simon Ekpa is taking responsibility. And so what? We are at war. Do you think we see military in checkpoint? We go and start giving them pure water. Then we collect water. It's war. And I have said it. Musa have declared war. He call it jungle welfare. All these videos are evidences. In case any day they come tomorrow and say Simon Ekpa this, we have evidences that they have declared jungle welfare. And we are in guerrilla warfare. It is war. So kill me, I kill you. And when we kill them, and it is public, they start crying. Like I said, no military checkpoint is allowed in Biafra land. If your checkpoint, if you are still standing in a checkpoint today, don't worry, your day is coming. This is what I'm going to drop here. And the only way is that Nigeria must pay for all the killings of Biafra. We have everything documented. And I would like the media team, after this particular outing today, cut those particular annexes we have shared to almost every countries of the world, including the European Union, United Nations, and all that. They can avoid, trying to know about it. To all we care. Nobody is going to defend our land for us. It is us. They don't care. All they care is our oil. They care our natural resources. They care nothing about us. So we are going to do everything humanly possible to make sure that those who kill us before will never know peace in our land, not why you are in our land. We will make sure we neutralize you anywhere you are until you leave. You are not welcome. Biafra has a government, and we even have two governments. The government in the homeland, what is called de facto government, complete functional, and the Biafra Republic government in exile. We will continue to defend ourselves under international law until the Biafra declaration and beyond that. I welcome all of you for supporting this liberation, and may God bless you.
Our leader.
Thank you, PM.
That one.
Oh, Guinea.